Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes. Hey, Myra J, how are you?
I am well. How are you, Sybil?
I am a little warm and a little tired, but other than that, I'm good.
Oh, are we Texas warm?
We're
Or is
Texas warm.
is this an
Yeah.
internal thing going
Yeah.
on?
No. I don't
Oh,
have that.
bless your heart.
I'm
Okay,
I'm real good. Yeah. I'm knock on wood.
okay.
Um, but we are now in the days where the 99s and 100s are the norm, and the temperatures get down to about 80 overnight.
Well, Atlanta's feeling a little jealous, so we're 99 today, 99, and that's without adding in the humidity.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's 99 here today, and with the heat advisory, it's like 106.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But hey, AC ain't it a good
God
thing?
bless
So
it.
that's what I'm
God
like.
bless
I
it.
don't give a dang what the temperature is outside. It's at the Lady Castle.
Okay, okay. That sounds like
All is good.
that sounds like the name of a porn feature, The Lady Castle.
The
Um,
lady.
so Myra, it's 107 in Palm Springs, but you know what?
What?
It doesn't feel like it. It's that dry heat.
Oh, you know what? There is a difference. But to be honest, after you get past 100, I don't care where you are. 100 is 100. Once you get into the triple digits, your hair going back. Okay. Your hair is going back. Your weave will get up off your head and just say,
Right,
come
right,
back and get me when it cools off. Look,
right. Yeah,
it's just hot.
you're right. You're absolutely right. Um, what's going on in your world?
Well, I was just sharing just a little bit of advice for everybody who's out there getting back into shape.
Hmm.
Don't do leg work 2 days in a row if you have not done leg work in
Are
months.
you feeling the leg work
I'm
aches
sitting
and
on a
pains?
pillow,
Oh,
okay?
okay.
Everything below my waist hurts right now.
Wow, good for you.
For all the wrong reasons. My stuff is tight. When it hurts to be on your tip, when it just hurts to walk, I kind of
Myra, you
get
should
that
come
mess.
and do yoga with us. Although I didn't do yoga today.
I
A
would
lot,
love to do yoga with you
a lot of
guys.
good stretching,
Yeah,
and
yes,
the hip wideners, and all of that stuff. Yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah. Yoga, Pilates, I absolutely love it. I'm not good at it, but I absolutely love it. I see the benefit of it. No, I was in the gym on the machines today. Like, yeah, we need to lift this. I want to lift that booty. I want to be booty lifted.
I know.
So
And the machines, when they see mine, they go, it's a lot. It's a lot there. It's a lot
yeah,
there.
and people are like, she only got it on 10 pounds. We don't know why she over there making all that noise.
Well, I'm glad. How's your shoulder?
Shoulder is getting much better. I'm hoping to be out of PT maybe in the next 6 weeks or so.
Oh,
That's
good.
hmm
Okay. Are
that's
you
my
doing it
personal
once a week?
twice,
Twice a week? Okay.
twice a week, twice a week. We're trying to be able to do the funky chicken again.
Good for you. Good,
Yeah.
good, good. All right. Normally Stephen Hill would be here, and Kwyn is expected. Stephen Hill had other previous engagement, and Kwyn is somewhere out in California trying to
Trying to
find.
find Wi-Fi,
Yeah,
trying to find the signal.
yeah, yeah. Um, and if she's anything like what we had when we lived in the valley, that could be a challenge. But I don't
Oh,
think that she's in the valley. I
okay.
don't know, but she is uh, packed up her truck and moved to Beverly, and she's out there looking for a place to live before she begins her new gig this summer. So, but we are anticipating her joining us, and she has three very special guests who are going to be joining us during the "What's Really Going On" segment as we come to a close to Pride Month, and I think this is going to be a very interesting conversation. So, hold on. Um, I'm going to hold off on Quinn's story too.
Okay.
I will tell you, it's an interesting one. Writes about a study They found a majority of Black people in the United States, some 65%, are supporters of Black LGBTQ plus people and their rights. I didn't know that it was that high. 65%
That's
of those,
that's
yeah,
good.
yeah,
That's
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 very
very,
good,
very cool.
very good, very good. Um, so we will await her arrival and talk about some of the other things that are in the newsletter. One of the things that I wrote about is the craziest thing. The Republicans have this habit of uh, making Joe Biden seem slow and an invalid and kind of out of step with all of these things going on.
Mhm.
Um, and his staff says that it's a result of editing by Republican organizations.
Wow.
They have edited out, like, there was one from the D-Day celebration. Oh no, it was the G7 celebration. And he was there, and you just see him waving, and there's nobody behind him that he's waving to, or nobody
Mhm.
in front of him that he's waving to. And it turns out they have totally erased that group of people. There was like paratroopers and other
Wow.
people, and he was giving a thumbs up and waving. And then you could see the prime minister of Italy just kind of guide him away. They said that was not true. What had happened was there were these people who were doing their exercises, and he was, encouraging them and thanking them and applauding them.
So
He
you're
did not see it.
saying that the Republicans were presenting a false narrative.
Right, right.
Well, clutch the pearl.
I know, I know, I know.
Whoever would have thought.
And so, but it goes on
Mhm.
because there was a scene at the fundraiser, the big fundraiser that the Biden Harris campaign had in Los Angeles, like last weekend, right? And
Mhm.
President Obama was there. Jimmy Kimmel was interviewing them, and when they were going off the stage, they showed a video, and the president was just kind of standing there and looking at the crowd, and President Obama took him by his arm and guided him off the stage.
Mhm.
He said that never happened.
Wow. Wow.
They said that never happened. They said the president put his arm on the president's back. President Obama put his arm on President Biden's back, and they walked off. But to make it look like it was like, come on, Papa, it's time to. No, they said that never happened.
Good card players, good spades players, and good bid whist players. We have a saying: I ain't got to cheat you to beat you.
And that's what the hope is, that that what they'll find as this campaign goes on. We're about 5 months out of the November 5th election. And so they're hoping that tomorrow night will be the first debate. And they're hoping that the president will come with his A game. And that's not to say that he doesn't have it. He comes to big events like that with a lot of energy, a lot of vim and
Mhm.
vigor. But they said that, uh, that doesn't jive. The Republicans are saying, and Donald Trump in particular, that doesn't jive with some of these other things. And so he's saying, I'm saying that he's getting jacked up and he's on some kind of drug that makes him do this. Or I'm saying that I want him to be drug tested and I'll be drug tested too. That's a really dangerous thing, Mr.
But,
Trump.
but,
Um,
well, yeah. I heard somebody on Fox News says, yeah, they're gonna give him Mountain
Mountain Dew.
Dew, and I was like, what the heck do y'all think is in Mountain Dew?
Mountain Dew is notorious for the amount of caffeine that it has.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, and obviously I don't drink Mountain Dew, but even still, I'm like, seriously?
Yeah.
Talk about sounding thirsty.
Right.
That's how they sound to me. Somebody sounds thirsty. Okay.
Yeah, so those are the kinds of things that they're concentrating on, and I write about the debate for tomorrow's newsletter. I don't know if you are planning to watch it. You and I are both newsies, and it is going to be. And you don't just. I know you watch CNN, but for people who don't have CNN, you don't have to just search out CNN. Uh, every
True.
channel in the world is going to have this. They're going to be able to stream or simulcast on their local news stations. And so you can go to NPR or PBS, you can go to MSNBC, you can go to you name it,
Right.
all your local ABC, NBC affiliates. This is the first of two presidential debates. And at first I was thinking, yeah, I'm gonna watch it, and but I'm not looking forward to it. And a lot of people are saying, nah, so I'll watch it for you. But the one that I'm really looking forward to, because they already took away one of the historically black colleges being a host to one of the debates. That was the plan when they were laying out the plans for this fall and the debates. Virginia State was supposed to be a host school, HBCU. That was 86, and now it's just two, and one of them is CNN, and the other is ABC. Now I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to ABC because the sister news anchor is Lindsay Davis, and she's going to
Okay.
participate as one of the moderators. At least I feel then that there will be somebody who looks like us and
Yeah,
perhaps
yeah,
will ask questions that pertain to us,
yeah.
as opposed to Jake Tapper and Dana Bash. Just saying, just saying. So and that is, sometimes it's just nice to know that you're represented. That
Absolutely.
as much as excited as I was when Gwen Eiffel hosted Alone,
Mhm.
when Bernard Shaw hosted and
Yes,
moderated. Remember that years
yes,
ago. It's
yes.
nice to see somebody that looks like you up there asking the questions, or at least the possibility of asking questions like, "So, Mr. President, all you've done for HBCUs, you couldn't get us on a campus, an HBCU
Right.
campus." I'm just saying.
Mhm.
I'm not
Mhm.
mad at ABC, but just saying.
Yeah, yeah.
And why don't you think these young brothers want to vote for you? And tell people that you forgave their student debts, which was a conversation we had yesterday.
Well, I
Um,
would love for someone to ask. So, do you seriously think that black people relate to you because you're a felon? You're a
right,
felon now.
right, right,
Explain that. I,
right.
I need I need names. I need names
Well,
and
they
numbers.
all told me. They told
Right.
me.
They said, yeah, no. They love me. I need their name.
Okay, I need all of the felons'
I need
names.
their name, their mama's name. I need their address. Yeah.
And how's it feel coming back to Atlanta? And let's say hello to the DA who's here to see you today.
And now that you're here, are you still looking for those 11,780 votes? I
Come
need for
on.
somebody to ask that question.
Yeah, let's ask that question. So we will I'll watch it, and we'll talk about it on Monday with you as well. So those are some of the things that we talk about in the What You Need to Know newsletter. Also, it is Black and Missing Day, and I'm going to talk about this Black and Missing that is in the newsletter, but I also want to talk about a Black and Missing case out of Chicago, a young woman who went to a yoga retreat and has disappeared
Mhm.
in the Bahamas while she was on, and it's a month-long yoga retreat. I was like, whoa, where do they do that at? But we will talk about that. But in the case of Black and Missing Foundation, there is a young woman who has been missing from her home. And take a look at her picture, please. And if she looks familiar to you, please go to the Black and Missing Foundation. And I appreciate uh, if you do recognize or you have some information, please go to the Black and Missing Foundation and let them know where you saw her, and hopefully can bring this young woman home. But every week we do this, and there are some success stories. These are two stories that I hope will have success. Um, Taylor is the young woman that went missing, and her family in Chicago is desperately seeking answers uh, from her or about her in the Bahamas. So um, it is time for us to move to our what's really going on segment. But I don't have information that Quinn has is dating us with her presence. But there is a lot of conversation amongst her guests about the intensity of Mountain Dew and Coke.
Yes, intense.
Jones and Dr. Kendra and Corey, thank you all for joining us. I know that Quinn is one of you, and in terms of her participation as a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and talking about queer people in the Divine Nine. Uh, I don't have the background on you guys. So, Dr. Kendra, if you could start us off and just give us a short introduction as to who and what you are.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sybil. And I must say, I love your red frames.
I love yours too.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Kendra Nicole Bryant Aya, and I am a professor at North Carolina State University and a member of the Divine Nine. I identify as lesbian. And I've been invited by Kwyn, who is my soror, to talk about the anthology I've been working on for the past 3 years that's tentatively called To the 10th Power, a word from the LGBTQIA plus members of D9 organizations. And so I'll stop there and pass it on to Corey, because Corey at Recognize Our Pride has been a large partner, if you will, in my endeavors and getting the word out regarding my work. While my work is the written word, his is the visual.
Excellent, excellent.
Always
And can I just say, Corey, way to go with the Aggie Pride. We appreciate you. Hey, Corey, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Who are you? Where are you from? Who are your people?
Yeah. So my name is Corey. I live in Virginia, and I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Back in 2022, there were a few organizations, divine organizations, that actually celebrated Pride Month. And so I said to myself, actually, we need all 9 of them to celebrate Pride Month. So I did some advocacy work there to try to get that to happen. But then I soon realized that there's a population of us, a good number of us, who feel ignored or not celebrated. So I actually created Recognize Our Pride to do just that, to celebrate the LGBTQIA plus members of the Divine Nine. And we have featured over 250 members of each and every organization. So I want to dispel that rumor or any preconceived notions there. But it's an exciting thing. And I'm always excited to connect and to talk about the fact that we have been here, we are here, and we continue to want to make sure that we encourage and challenge our organizations to be inclusive environments for us.
Great. And Jones, I just want you to know that Kwyn is here. I want you to continue with your introduction, and we're going to bring Kwyn up, and then we'll continue the conversation. Okay. And if I may also say, Jones, if I'm not mistaken, you were supposed to be with us last week.
I keep hearing that.
Oh, okay.
But however, it was communicated to me the 26th. So
got it.
I've always known the date of the 26th.
You are like the number 4 poet in the country, from what I understand.
The universe.
The universe. Thank you, Myra. Thanks for the correction. Yeah.
I receive it. I receive it. I'll leave it there. But my name is Jones. I am a poet and I'm a materials engineer. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. I work for an aerospace company, but I'm from Georgia, and I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I got invited here. I was asked to come on here by Kwyn to just speak about my experience being queer in a D9 organization. So,
and Kwyn is furiously texting behind the scenes. That's not Jones. That wasn't her. That was supposed to be here.
That's not Jones.
I'm receiving it all. You feel me?
Okay, so you may not be the number 4 poet in the world.
In my world, I am.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, y'all, for being late. I'm looking at apartments. I literally am in an apartment right now. My mom is here with me. I'm moving to LA, so I'm sorry for being late. This Pacific Standard Time is a real game changer. But yeah, sorry. Okay, so Jones,
we saved all of this for you.
Okay, thank you. Jones, did you introduce yourself already?
I did, yep. I was
okay,
the last
cool.
one. Yep.
And I walked in on Corey, you're talking about the background of Recognize Our Pride. Okay, so Bryant, did you want to talk about the power of the 10th, or did you already do that?
We just did introductions, and so we're just waiting on you to guide us.
Yes, so if you want to talk about Power of the 10th, basically all of you guys are interconnected by our affiliations within the BGLO community or the MPHC community, D9, whichever way you guys want to adhere to it. And so to close out Pride Month with all of these denouncing all of this extreme Christian terrorism against the queer community, I think it's very, very important to illuminate that there are queer members of the Divine Nine, and that there are specific entities and people such as yourself, Soror or Bryant that are really trying to amplify the voices of our experiences, let them be harmful or helpful. And I think it's important, especially for a Sybil's audience, to know that, because a lot of times, unfortunately, when we think about queer people, we don't think that people are outly queer and a part of Christian-based organizations. They kind of see the two as like dissonant. So can you talk about the power of the 10th, the anthology? Can you talk about your genesis of it? Like what really prompted you to want to create an anthology, and how has that process been going for you?
So I'm a scholar. And I'm a writer. I'm a poet, all of these things. And I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. But in all transparency, I have not been an active member of Delta Sigma Theta since I crossed in 2000, or at least after I left Florida A&M University, where I pledged the Beta Alpha chapter. But I've had negative experiences or comments made toward my sexuality after I crossed Delta. I had some sorors who did not realize that I identified as lesbian. And through the grapevine, I was told that I would not have made the organization had folks knew that I identified as lesbian. And at that time in spring 2000, my family and friends knew of my sexuality and accepted me. And so this was the first time I received backlash and hate speech from sorority sisters. And so that was disheartening, to say the least, right? And so I kept my distance because of it, right? But I have still done things for younger sorors who might need letters or need encouragement, because Delta is not about the letters, it's about what's inside. Sisterhood and scholarship and service has always been within me, whether I have letters or not. But what got me to wanting to develop to the 10th power is Funky Geneva. Most of us know Funky Geneva. Funky Geneva is an Alpha Phi Alpha, right? And on May 18th, 2021, 3 days after a young graduating Alpha Phi Alpha man named Dallas on his legendary I Am Instagram page posted a picture of him in a pink suit with high heels on, and he was wearing an Alpha stole. And of course, this went viral. My Alpha Phi Alpha friends sent me the picture, and there was all this conversation about the rightness or wrongness of this brother wearing pink suit. And Funky Geneva on his YouTube went on to claim that Dallas had no right to wear the Alpha Phi Alpha letters. And what really bothered me was when Funky Geneva said that Alpha Phi Alpha did not belong to him, to Dallas. And I thought that's probably what a lot of people believe regarding queer folks, that the organization does not belong to us, but we are the organization, right? And so while I understand protocols as far as dress is concerned, this picture was taken in 2021, almost near a whole quarter within the 21st century, right? Times have changed drastically. And through Recognize Our Pride, we see more and more of D9 members, especially old school members, founding members, who may have identified as queer, but were not allowed to be that. And we're in a space now where we are, especially our younger folks, are out and proud. And when Funky Geneva, who has a following, said it doesn't belong to him, I started typing. I said, I said, I'm about to do a call for papers. An anthology is needed, because from my research, there is no anthology to date for D9 queer voices. You know, the latest anthology is Black Greek Letter Organization of the 21st Century. Right? I don't know if y'all can see this title. And there's only one research paper from a queer presenter. And so I was like, imagine having an entire book, right, dedicated to queer voices, right? And so, you know, without taking up too much time, I do want to talk to Recognize Our Pride, because I remember when I started this venture, Recognize Our Pride was new. And I reached out to Recognize Our Pride, and I was like, hey, I need your help. I need some help with soliciting papers. And Recognize Our Pride was like, nah, not right now. We busy, right? And then this project, which has been 3 years old for me, was stalled because, perhaps out of fear, I didn't get a lot of submissions, people are worried about writing about being queer and a member of an organization. But then I think maybe 2 years passed and Recognize Our Pride reached out to me again. And it was at a time I was reading an essay by Audre Lorde where she was saying that, you know, when Black people start oppressing queer Blacks, we're losing our focus. We're losing our focus, right? That we need to put all of that aside and come together as one collective, one strong Black unit in order to be a revolution, in order to actually fight the power. But we can't be busy fighting ourselves. And I'm reading this essay and Recognize Our Pride reached out to me. And I was like, okay, it's time to start this up again. So I've been working on this for 3 years. 3 years. And I think I finally have enough, not only momentum and support to Recognize Our Pride, but a lot of submissions so far that I'm ready to get together, editing, revising, and start soliciting a publisher and get this thing going.
Good for you.
Yes, I think this book is really going to light a fire on the darkness that has plagued Black Greek lore organizations in regards to their silence when it comes to queer issues, but also their queer members. I haven't seen, and I think, you know, Corey, I don't know if you brought this up, like, hasn't only been like one fraternity of the NPHC that said Happy Pride Month? Still, like in 2024, it's only one. It wasn't, who was it this year?
Iota Phi Theta.
Really?
Right, the Iotas. The Iotas.
And I'm sure every
Out of
single
all of them.
I'm sure every single person on this call knows a gay member of a fraternity, a D9 fraternity. And it's very disappointing. It really is, because there's a huge segment of us, whether they know it or not, whether they recognize us or not, who should be celebrated. We certainly should have that moment. And I think sometimes there's been conversations of people feeling like, well, we don't just want to co-opt that or to tokenize that movement. But it's like, no, you actually need to give us a shout out to say that you recognize us. It'll be a monumental thing for us to see Alpha and Omega and Kappa and Sigma to say Happy Pride Month to their queer members that we know are there. So,
and not to mention the young people that are on their way up.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. And Jones, did you want to talk about your experience being queer and being an AKA? I'm not sure like how the two converge for you in regards to your sexuality and like you seeking a membership. But if there's anything that you want to talk about, like, and some stuff you want to not talk about, like, that's fine too.
Yeah. So what I will say just off the bat, because I think it matters at the time. So I'm a legacy. So whether or not they wanted to accept me or not, you know, at that time in 2013, when I crossed, I met all the requirements on paper. And then I had legacy backing me. So there was like no way that I wasn't going to get accepted on paper. But I will say that the stigma that exists specifically, I think, for AKAs is they're typically light skinned, they have long hair, they're like prissy, or like we're considered like pretty girls and 20 pearls. And I didn't, at that time, when I was in college, definitely like still finding myself, still finding my voice in terms of my sexuality, but I wasn't none of that. You know, I was an engineering major, sweatsuit, sweatpants, sweatshirt, slides, and my locks were like this long. Okay. They were like baby. Okay. So I think, what 11 years later, now my hair is longer. I cut it a couple years ago, but even still, like, it's longer now. I think I've come to accept more of my femininity, if you will. Like I walk more boldly in that these days, more so than I did back then. But I just think it was the idea of like getting the looks of like, girl, you an AKA? Like, no, I would have never. Like, I could have sworn you was a Delta, or you should have did this, or you should have crossed Zeta, or some, you know, any of the other ones. And just so, to Dr. Kendra's point, I didn't experience any direct like hate speech, right? But it was always like the stares, like just looking like a little bit longer than usual, right? And so like when I would go out to parties with my sisters, especially when I first crossed and I was on the yard, I'm not wearing no skirt. I mean, my advisor had to beat me into like skirts during, you know, chapter meetings and things like that. Like really had to push me like, hey, like this is not how we dress, but it's like, but it's how I dress. So, I mean, we got to like strike a little balance or something. And I just became more and more comfortable as the years went on. And I think a big part of that was more so like the acceptance that I received or that I felt from my fellow sisters. Like they all knew, right? We went through the process together. So they were very much so informed of my queerness at the time and they didn't shun me. They didn't make me feel bad. It was more so the external world and maybe some of my pro fights, some of the older heads, like when I would go to Boulé or like some of the regional meetings, like, and looking at me sideways, like, girl, shoot, like, you know, there's a certain decorum that you need to keep. But I also think that, I don't know, there is something about me like willingly making myself uncomfortable for the presumed acceptance of other people that I've struggled with for the bulk of my life. And so I've always like found myself fighting this balance of like, oh, I don't want to look like Joanna Man, like when I put this skirt on or this dress on and these heels on, but also knowing like, no, like I know how to walk in heels. Like I know how to embrace it. It might not look like the token woman or token pretty girl, but like in my own right, like I'm very much so a beautiful person. And so, yeah, I'm grateful, right? I'm blessed to have been surrounded by the women that I now call sisters and have been calling sisters, because I didn't have that experience. It was more so from the community around me, right? I vividly remember, it was the Sunday after I crossed, and I sang on the praise team at the time at the church that I was attending. And I walked in very much so like I had my blazer on, like had my turtleneck, and I had my string of pearls on. And I remember the pastor looking me dead in my face and was like, "That ain't you." And I was like, man, dog, too bad. I'm in it for life now. You know what I'm saying? And that was a situation personally. I think that when we consider these organizations are like Christian based, we don't always receive that welcoming from the community, right? You're supposed to come to church as you are. Oh, okay. Well, if I try to do that, I got to sit in the back, or I need to go sit in overflow, or I need to watch the service, not in front of everybody. So that, I think that was probably one of the more disheartening experiences that I've had, for somebody to look me dead in my face and just make an assumption, just kind of size me up in like 2-3 minutes. Like, nah, that ain't you. And it's like, but it is. Like this organization has ultimately treated me very well, right? It has led to multiple opportunities. It's how I ended up in Cincinnati. And when I got here, I was further embraced by sorors that I never met before, right? And they kind of ushered me into corporate America. And I kind of been here since. So like, it's done a lot for me. But I think, I don't know, maybe people's fear, thinking that if they're too close in proximity to certain things, that they're not going to enter the pearly gates or what have you. But I just think this voice needs to be shared. We exist. I know so many queer people in fraternities and sororities, like it'll blow your mind. You know,
Let me just say, and I don't want to cut you off, Jones, and I appreciate what you all have shared. Kwyn, we have about a minute left. I don't know how you want to wrap this, but I would like to invite you all to come back when Kwyn can make it on time. And we can continue this conversation. I'm kidding.
Well, there goes the minute. Dang.
Well, I had to vamp. We're waiting for you. So, as you'd like to close?
Yes. Firstly, I think what Joan said was really a good way to end, is that we do exist and we have existed. A lot of times people think there's some type of gay agenda, and people forget that homosexuals, transgender folks have existed for a long time. I would like to know if you guys could describe in one word, what does pride as a D9 member mean for you? And how are you embodying that within this last week of Pride Month?
Authenticity.
I'm going to say liberation.
Okay, yes.
And Jones
I'll say confidence.
and
Hopefully,
Quinn.
K. It better not be with the K, Jones, because you all that pretty girl stuff. It was too much for me. The only handle too much. But I would say joy. I think there's lots of joy. I'm grateful for Recognize Our Pride. So, Bryant, I am endlessly grateful for your scholarship and your work. Jones, ever since we connected, your vibe, your light has been so nutritional for me as a creative and also as a queer person. So I'm grateful for each and every one of you guys for showing up today, because this has been weeks, months in the making. So I
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it
me.
so much.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so
joining
much.
us, and
Thank you for
please
sharing.
come back and join us
Yes.
again. We appreciate it. Nice to meet you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Kendra and Corey and Jones. And good job, Quinn.
Thank you. Bye, y'all. I am going to hop off as well so I can look at this apartment.
I know a hard day at work, girl.
Woo,
Yeah.
you really slaved over this microphone today, didn't you?
Honestly, I really was like, I'm not gonna make it. Sybil's gonna be so mad. And of course, I was like, you know what? At least we made it with 10 minutes to spare. So I'm so sorry. This will not happen again. But I appreciate you guys.
Okay.
Very
All
happy.
right.
Well, the time difference will play a role in your life from here on out. Trust and believe.
Yes.
Trust and
All
Happy
right.
believe.
hunting.
Good luck.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Tell your mom we said hi.
Bye-bye.
Take care. So Myra, moving on to what's really going on. These are things that are happening. Um, so we talked about the debate, and did you say you are going to watch tomorrow night or
I
not?
will probably watch just because I don't have anything I'm currently binge watching right now. So yeah, no, I'm actually kidding. Yes, I will watch. Not so much, to see what each person. I'm gonna be totally transparent. I'm just watching to see if Donald Trump f's up, because him not having a hot mic all the time
Right.
and not having an audience. I know his team is trying to say, well, no, and he's gonna be more like the second debate, and I don't think he can do it. And I'm just laying in the cut going, messed up, messed up, messed up. Hookah, 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 hookah. Whatever I can do, whatever I can do, that's all I'm looking forward to, because nothing that man can say is going to make me change my mind.
Not even who his vice president is going to
I
be.
don't give a dang who he brings.
Because
Tim,
I think that's one of the reasons they really aren't sure how he's going to perform. They aren't sure how President Biden is going to be able to needle him and kind of take him off his skis a little bit. But
I don't think he has to do anything. I really don't, because I don't think the man can stay on his skis. You ever hear him speak? He can't walk a straight line. He cannot hold a
well,
straight
he's also
conversation.
used to having the time to spread out and
Yes,
to
yes.
have these time constraints as well as the mic turned off. It's going to be interesting. Um, but I think that they're using the whole vice presidential thing to kind of take away from what could be a disastrous night for Donald Trump and have these vice presidential candidates who I don't think it's going to be a big surprise. I think it's going to be the governor of North Dakota. I don't think that he is going to have the Senator J.D. Vance from Ohio. I don't think he's going to pick little Marco Rubio. None of those people, and he's going to get somebody that is as close to Mike Pence as he could get,
Yep.
who is not Mike Pence.
Yep. And can somebody tell Tim Scott to start drinking now? Because you're not getting picked, son.
Right.
Period. You never were.
And J. Anthony Brown says, who's going to tell the girlfriend or the wifey that he's not going to be vice president? Well, that might be why she came into the game, but she'll be looking for somebody else soon if that was the case. I don't know.
That'll be her last check.
Okay. Police in the Bahamas, as we mentioned earlier, are investigating the disappearance of a Chicago woman by the name of Taylor Casey. Her family says she was last seen a week ago while attending a month-long yoga retreat. And her mom was interviewed. She said, "Oh my God, I miss Taylor. Taylor should not be missing as far as I'm concerned." Well, I would think everybody would agree with that. She said that she received a troubling call last week when the retreat's organizers asked if she had heard from her daughter. And she said, I heard from Taylor Tuesday. That was the last time. Taylor sent me pictures of her in the Atlantic Ocean. And I thought for sure that there was some discussion that she communicated with her family on a regular basis. Even like
Mhm.
they talked about Juneteenth and things, and that might have been that Tuesday, which is the day before Juneteenth. But she did communicate to her mom, "Look, mom, I'm at the beach," and they said that they have alerted the U.S. Embassy or Taylor's family after she failed to show up for the morning class on June 20th, which was a Thursday, a little less than a week ago. She said, "What we're hearing does not sound like Taylor, and we need more information," according to her friend Emily. And this is what was interesting to me, Myra. Bahamas is one of those under a State Department travel advisory issued in January due to increased crime.
Mhm.
People say, "Oh, I don't worry about it. It's a level 2." But when the State Department, they don't do this all willy nilly. They do this with purpose and to alert people, to make them know that this is you could be, and we don't want to
Mhm.
take away from their tourism dollars, but you could be stepping into a dangerous situation.
Yeah,
A-
and they said she was last seen near the Atlantis, and that's my spot.
Mhm.
That's where I stay usually. When I go, and many times I've gone by myself, and this is purposely now just kind of made me kind of put it on hold. Like, let's see what's happening here.
Yeah, so check this out. The State Department said violent crimes such as burglaries, armed robberies, sexual assaults occur in both tourist and non tourist areas. Be vigilant when staying at short term vacation rental properties where private security companies do not have a presence. This is on the Department of State website. And they just want her cousin, I think her cousin or her niece, pinged her phone, and the phone was pinged uh, in the Atlantic Ocean. So I don't know if that means she took pictures of herself at the beach. I don't know if that means that
Hmm.
she lost her phone in the water,
Hmm.
and I don't know.
Oh, prayers up.
Most
That
definitely, most
it's
definitely.
very disturbing indeed.
And once again, the hashtag is bring Taylor home. And I have it on my Instagram. I'm going to update that. It's also on Facebook. I think TikTok also as well. And they're also they have a crowd of fundraiser um, because the family was not prepared financially to go to the Bahamas to look
Hmm.
for their Taylor, and so they are a little short on funds as they are there trying to find and get answers about her disappearance. So we wish them luck and God bless them, and please, Lord, hear their prayers. So Myra, just when you think the world couldn't get any crazier,
What's
guess what?
happened now? What?
It got crazier.
What the world do now?
What the world? Here's a man, 63 years old, by the name of Donald Ray Lance, and a 62-year-old woman named Jean K. Whitefeather pleaded not guilty to more than a dozen charges after several kids were found locked in a crumbling shed in ratty clothing on their property. Lance and Whitefeather were first arrested in October after a wellness check led to the discovery of their 5 adopted children, ages 16, 14, 11, 9, and 6, living in deplorable conditions on their Sissonville, West Virginia property. The indictment alleges human trafficking, human rights violations, and the use of forced labor. Human rights violations specific to the fact that these children were targeted because of their race as Black children, and they were used
Wow.
basically as slaves, from what the indictment alleges.
Wow.
There is a special place, or I hope it's not special. I hope it's the worst place on earth where they end up.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Because that,
Absolutely. That's
that,
terrible. That's terrible. People, but we're supposed to have forgiveness in our heart.
yeah, yeah,
Well, I'm not there yet.
right, right. And I want them to suffer.
Yeah. Hey, for
I
real,
want,
for real,
I want them to
for real.
suffer.
and throw away the key.
And throw away the damn key. Right.
Okay.
Sad news from Hollywood. Veteran actor Bill Cobbs has died. The actor was born and raised in Cleveland and served in the Air Force as a radar technician. Upon his return to Cleveland, he worked in office products at IBM and he sold cars. And in 1970, he moved to New York to fulfill his dreams of becoming an actor. He starred in stage productions, including the Negro Theater Ensemble, where he starred in Ossie Davis's production of Pearly Victorious, which just
I was gonna say the PBS app. If you want to see it, the app PBS, download it. It was wonderful.
yeah.
I just watched it over the weekend.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
He also appeared and was a regular on a number of television programs, some of my favorites, including The Outer Limits, I'll Fly Away. He played, I think he was her father in I'll Fly Away. Regina, what is Regina? What is that actress's name? It's not Regina Bell. I can't remember, but I know it was Regina, and she played the lead. Yes, Dear, The Sopranos, 6 Feet Under, The Drew Carey Show, One Tree Hill. I can't picture him on One Tree Hill, and I'm kind of ashamed to admit that I watched One Tree Hill. Star Trek Enterprise, where he portrayed the part of the character of Dr. Emery Erickson, the inventor of the transporter.
Okay.
In films, he starred in the Night at the Museum series, The Ghost of Mississippi, Air Bud, and the Whitney Houston movie, The Bodyguard. And check this out. Bill Cobbs turned 90 years old 10 days ago.
Wow. And also New Jack City.
New Jack City. Yep.
Yes, absolutely. I had the pleasure of meeting him several years ago. Director Kenny Leon, who gets a big fundraiser here every year. And so somebody just took me over to meet him, and he was just a kind and gentle spirit. He really was.
He just seemed like that seemed to exude from him. I never was as lucky as you to have met him, but he just had that kind of spirit about him, right?
Yeah.
Well, we wish to everyone that he leaves behind that his memories be a blessing to you, and just really, really something. Myra, I am excited about the Olympics. Are you?
Okay.
The Olympics are these big games.
Yes. I really am.
They're held every 4 years. This year they're going to be
a lot of running and swimming and jumping
and volleyball and track and I'm not getting a lot of enthusiasm from people, but we did talk about this young man who's 16 years old. He is going, Quincy Wilson.
The track star.
Yeah. He is one of the breakout stars. And also I'm a big fan of Sha'Carri Richardson from here in the Dallas area. So, and I love when I kind of identify with them. There are a number of, a few people from HBCUs. One young man is a Howard graduate, and I believe that he did undergraduate at Howard, and he went to graduate school, and he is in the Olympics, and he got a job at Walmart, and Walmart is one of his sponsors.
Okay.
Isn't that great? Yeah, because I mean, the problem with this is being able to train all of this time, as well as having to have a job, or at least someone to be your sponsor, so you can do all the training you need to do, and traveling to get to the meets and to all of that. So it's really pretty cool. So the Olympics are 30 days away, and you can watch them on any of the NBC properties, Peacock and what have you. So if you could, would you go?
Oh, heck yeah.
Me too.
To be in Gay Patty during the Olympics? Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure that the whole city would just be energized and excited.
Yeah, for sure. Myra, let's move to entertainment. Did you know the BET Awards are this weekend?
Now, no shade, but talk about things that you don't plan on watching. I actually looked and I went, for the first time, I if I watch it, fine, but I'm just not looking forward to it. And I kind of feel bad myself because I'm like, this is the BET Awards and we need to support it. But they keep saying for the culture.
Yeah,
for the
right,
culture.
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
like,
the saying, right?
I'm like, don't we have something else besides that?
Well, it could be worse.
Really?
It could be worse.
They said Sexy Red, I think
Yeah, it's one of
they
those.
just lost me. They just lost me. Yeah.
Taraji P is set to
Mhm.
host.
Mhm.
Usher will receive an award, and BET announced that Will Smith has a special performance scheduled for Sunday, during which he'll debut a brand new song live, his first in over 5 years. And this comes after he announced that he has a forthcoming project that he plans to release in the next month or so. It's kind of a resurgence of sorts for Will, obviously,
Yeah.
with Bad Boys and first, and now the BET Awards. And Taraji, who had a really difficult time following the release of The Color Purple and all of that stuff that may or may not have happened on the set. But she's getting a lot of love now, and good for her.
Good. Yeah. Good for. Question for you. So have you forgiven Will Smith?
I never, you know what? It was never. This was awful.
You never had an issue with it?
I did.
Really?
I did.
Okay.
I
No, just
didn't,
a question.
I didn't think that it was right, but I wasn't in uproar the way so many other people were.
Okay.
And you know, the thing that I remember most about this was not being so upset about that, was just being stunned that it happened, because we were all watching
Texting.
at the same time. And
Yeah.
did you see you know, it's one
Was
of
it
those.
real? Was that
Yeah,
a bit? Wait a minute.
right,
What just happened? Mhm.
right. And what about you?
Um, to be honest, I honestly think I'm getting there. And what really helped me was going to see Bad Boys. I didn't even plan to see it, and it was no diss on Will Smith. I was just gonna wait for it to come on Netflix or something. And I went and I was like, okay, all right, he's done some good and he seemed like a good guy and he's apologized and he did good in the movie. So, okay, just ease on back into the culture, I guess. Okay, we gonna invite you to the barbecue this summer. All right, Will.
I think that whole family dynamic is very interesting to me. And so, whatever was going through his mind, whatever was going on between he and Jada, because we know now about, them not being together and all of this stuff. And perhaps he was just amped up and wanted to prove, I got you, I'm protecting you, even though you don't think, you don't give a damn about me or whatever. So I think there were a whole lot of feelings that were in this. And it did look staged to me, but I never had any hatred or any animosity, or so there was really nothing for me to forgive.
No, I was here and I was over here because I was beside myself. I was like, this ain't about you, son.
Yeah.
Will Packer is producing another
And
man.
that was the part. That was the part right
that's
there.
why I was upset because to me the
That
whole
was a
thing became about
magical
him.
night.
Yes, and there was so many Black people doing things there for the first time, and it all became about the slap. That's why I was upset.
Yeah. And all of the focus on the good was swept away, and it became, as you say, the slap.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was wrong. Let's move to the jewel. Funny you should mention holding grudges. Holding on to grudges can strain relationships, while forgiveness can pave the way for reconciliation and stronger connections. So inhale forgiveness, exhale bitterness. You still exhaling?
Shit. Okay, Will, you can come to the barbecue, but I'm not gonna fix your plate. How about that?
And what if he brings some potato salad? Will you eat it?
No.
Okay.
No, he's not a potato salad level yet. No, He can bring the paper plates and the paper cups now.
He'll bring the hoagies, maybe. I don't know. So thank you all so much. Thanks, Myra. Thank you, Kwyn. Good luck with your apartment search. And thank you again to her friends Jones and Corey and Dr. Kendra. We appreciate you all coming. We appreciate you all watching, and we'll
Yes.
see you all again tomorrow night. Watch us. We got a great show on hands-on CPR. Talk to you soon.
Oh, cool.
Aloha.
Stay hydrated.
Very much so.